This is I Am Probulos, and welcome to 101 Reasons for Non-Belief. Now today we'll be discussing 21 through 25, and these are all in my book, 101 Reasons for Non-Belief, on Amazon Kindle. Now reason 21 is a new category. It's inconsistencies in the Bible, and generally I don't want to get into a chapter and verse debate with the faithful, but there's so many issues and errors concerning the creation of the world, science in general, the concept of miracles outside of reality, and just so much more. So it's not just one issue, but there, or even 10, there's literally hundreds. Most apologists like to quote the Bible as if that is the end of the discussion, but I don't really respect it as a historical document or one of fact. Essentially, it's propaganda to promote a belief system. Reason number 22 refers to the problem of evil. Now, for most, where this is sufficient to lead them to be a non-believer, to destroy their faith, and there are entire books and debates concerning the issue of evil. God's Problem by Bart D. Ehrman is one of the best. And the question is, how can God be good if evil exists? Now, of course, the answer is it's our fault, and it goes back to the top 5 reasons: Adam and Eve, original sin, our free will, and again, it's this snowball effect. So obviously, if all of those never happen, then the problem of evil is best defined by the statistical theory of everything, another book that I have. And I actually attack this issue with my novella, The Other God's Earth, where I create a utopian world. The problem of evil is best to explain our world as it is now. Reason number 23 is again a new category, in that religion is generally anti-science. Now, some are much better than others, but particularly the evangelical community, the biblical literalists, and the young earth creationists, they are constantly attacking man's reason. They're attacking science, and they even have gone to great length on setting up home study programs. They have the Ark exhibit, the Creationism Museum, and so much more to disprove science, to disprove evolution, to teach young children that the world is only 6,000 years old. And again, this is a real big problem in my belief system. There's no way I could ever believe these. If you look at what the Catholic Church did to Galileo, if you look at the Dark Ages, there's ample proof that religion has impacted science over the centuries. Number 24, again, basically links the very early concepts of Adam and Eve and original sin and the fall of man to science and evolution, in that we have to believe that after the fall of man, God purportedly redesigned the entire world and universe that was originally created without death, without sin, and without evil, and then he added all of them. So even for a deity, this would be a mammoth task, but the question is, why would God do that, considering all choices, there was infinite choices were available? Why would he choose this world and then create thousands of parasites, congenital diseases, viruses, bacteria, plagues, cancer, and an entire ecosystem that's predicated on death? Basically, the entire system of predator and prey, which permeates all of our ecosystem here on Earth, would have needed to be designed after the fall of man. And this leads into so many other issues, in particular the suffering of animals. And finally here, to round out the top 25, we have God is the invention of man. He did not create us. Now, this is one of the unthinkable horrors, and it also links to many other of what I call unthinkable horrors, and that's simply things that the faithful don't want to lose once they lose their faith. And I don't have a problem. I've never had a problem with that. A lot of people that are kind of on the bubble, it can be a little bit jarring. Essentially, you would lose heaven, you lose your immortality, you can't pray to anyone because there's no one there. And a lot of people always ask about purpose, but I've got plenty to say about purpose. Again, Probulism is a book where it's essentially a type of secular humanism, and there's plenty of things that you can do on earth to make our life here better. You also would lose ultimate justice if there is no God and no heaven and no afterlife. So all of these, again, are what I call horrors. People want to believe them, which goes into the concept of wishful thinking, too good to be true. Again, I am skeptical by nature, so the first thing that comes to my mind is like, oh, really? We're going to live forever in bliss? Now, another concept here is that God and religion could be considered what's known as a spandrel. In other words, we have just a natural inclination towards spirituality and, believing in what I call an agent. There's an active agent out there, and it controls our lives. That's just something that we basically have as a construct in our brain. I don't have it because I consider myself to be spiritually challenged. I don't have this faith gene or spandrel. I don't have a need to believe in authoritarian type of God. So that rounds out our top 25. Again, here on my list, you see that we do have a whole series of videos on 101 reasons for non-belief. There's 5 per video. Also, I'm going to do a summary of the categories in between, say, every 25 or so, because I think it's really interesting to compare and contrast them. Visit us on our webpage. You can always send me an email. There's a contact form on my website, and you can follow me on both Twitter and Facebook. Thank you for visiting. I am Probulos, and this is 101 Reasons for Non-Belief.